them in the Roman capital in a vault. When the Roman Church began to rise as an imperialistic power against Judaism, because by that time the mixed-race Jews, who had more knowledge and they were more grounded in the ancient Kemetic tradition, Hebrew tradition as well, they had more knowledge, and it was sacerdotal power that ruled. Always keep that in mind. It wasn't just military. It was sacerdotal. Whoever held divine power held the power of the world. And in order to get that, you had to show that by seizing or occupying that temple or that throne or whatever. Well, they needed to usurp that from the Sibyls, because the Jews were gaining more ground, especially in West Africa and in Greece. And so they, under Constantine, he destroyed the temples. In the book of Revelation, you hear about the 7 temples. Those were the Sibyl temples. They weren't Christian churches. Christianity, in fact, our tradition lingered so strong throughout the ancient world up to 500 years after the death of this person they call Christ. After. There was no way to destroy it because it was the original power, period. And nothing preceded it, nothing. You have a corruptions of it. But 500 years after. But those 7 temples are the civil temples that were usurped by them. And those prophecies were against them. And what would befall them because of what they did. This is, now keep in mind, this has nothing to do with Christianity. I'm just recounting history. They came up with this Christianity later. They have to center it around some kind of deity of their own. But they took her temples there. They took them in all throughout Turkey. The tiny empire. They took all of that under Constantine and Theodosius, the military arm of Rome, general of Rome. They took her temples. And they took her scriptures, because the book of Psalms was found in ancient Syria, where one of the greatest temples to the mommy deity Adagassus existed. It come out of her temple. That's where the book of Psalms was found, the so-called book of Psalms, which was just papyri at the time.
You know, Mother, as I hear you speak, and, you know, as I was reading your book, and I said this a little bit earlier, I just had, you know, so many emotions, and one of the main emotions were just how cheated black women, I mean, just how cheated, and just like, as you said, you know, even doing the Christian thing myself at one time, just not even, you know, thinking or pondering that that's my history, and I'm celebrating the fall
right.
of my mother temples.
Right, the slave mentality. There you go.
It's amazing.
We have to get out of this very narrow box in which we view slavery, in which we view the history and what that really, really meant. We tend to just think in terms of European American slavery. We don't understand that slavery began when the first mother temple was overthrown. That's how the Sibyls began to be sold into slavery. The tradition of the Amagasi is a slave tradition. It is bequeathed to the children of the slaves. In this country, there are Amagasis, families. In this country, there are lineages here. It is bequeathed to the children of the slaves. But we keep looking to the corruptions of her religion. The Mecca Islam is not the Islam there is the Islam of the white Arabs, but that was not their religion. Islam was already in existence, and it was matriarchally centered. It was the second branch. There were 7 major branches of the mother religions that the spirits taught her. Spirit, it wasn't religion, spirit. Islam was one of them. And in the 7th century, after they taught this warrior chief Muhammad, he overthrew those temples. He took out all the African deities. He took her dove down. He took the Pessanusian stone, the black rock, out and tried to move it. But bad luck had because of the war. Those who knew who it belonged to went to war with him. It's all broken up inside there, but it's put together by wire. That's history that's not being told, and they don't want you to photograph. Not inside. They don't let you inside see it. But the Islam, that's why it's at war. That's why it's not. There's no peace there. When you do that, it's war for all humanity, not just for those who are guilty. These are all of the religions are at war because they have all been usurped and corrupt and made into something altogether different, and the mother has been removed. African mother has been removed. It's critical that we understand that, and that our history is a continuum of this history here. It's not separate from that history. It's a continuum of this history. And the perversions of the Canaanites were a matriarchal clan, were not patriarchal. And they were hated because they refused to disown the mother God. And so they were called idol worshipers, and they were called this, and they were called